Yaşlı TV'den herkese selamlar. Ben yaşlı oyuncu arkadaşlar. Minecraft'ta kaldığımız yerden devam ediyoruz. Nerede kalmıştık? En son Stanley Parable'ın birinci ve ikinci endinglerine ulaşmıştık. Şimdi üçüncü ve dördüncü endingle yolumuza devam edeceğiz. Bakalım neler yapacağız? Üçüncü endingi bulabilecek miyiz bakalım. Evet, her şey hazır. Bir önceki gibi olduğunu tahmin ediyorum. Müziğin falan her şey yolunda. Şeyi Resource peki Stanley Parable. Evet.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Evet.
Stanley worked for a
Hızlandıracağım.
company in a big
Her zaman
building where he
duyduğumuz
was employee number
sözler.
427.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Ha. Odaya geldik.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from
Others.
Şimdi
So the
hatırladığım
thought of
kadarıyla
total solitude was terrifying to him.
şu sol kapıdan geçerek de şeye ulaşabiliyorduk.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Soldan da
open
giderek
doors, he entered the door on
o
his left.
yani şeye ulaşabildiğimizi sanıyorum.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to
Bir de
stop
bakalım
by
nasıl
the
yapmışlar
employee
employee
lounge
lounge'ı.
first, just to admire it. Ah, yes,
Vay,
truly a room
yani
worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Güzel yapmış ya. Kötü değil. Evet.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Şimdi bir buradan düz gidersek bir sonla karşılaşabiliriz. Telefon sonu hatırlarsanız. Buradan da aşağı inip bir başka sonla karşılaşabiliriz. Veya buradan düz gidip
Yet there was not a single person here
evet,
either.
ben bir aşağı
Feeling
kata
a wave
gideceğim,
of
alt kata.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office,
Hani
hoping
üst
he
kata
might find an
çıkmak
answer there.
istiyordu dedik ya. Buradan.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Biz de altta gidelim ki aşağıda bakalım ne oluyor. Var mı burada bir son? Açık olduğuna göre var.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
Konuşma
His
bitsin
boss
bakalım.
would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Niye baktığımızda
Why did
ayağı
doors
yoktu?
close automatically behind
Neden
him
kapılar
wherever he
arkamızdan
went?
kapanıyordu?
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
Aha.
He yelled. This is all a dream.
Her şey
What a
rüya.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't
Ana.
crazy after all.
Vay yapmışlar.
And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing
Evet,
buttons.
uyanacağız.
I
Bekle
may as well
uyanacağız.
enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Uçtuğumuzu
Then he
hissediyor şu an.
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered
Aa, çok
Stanley's
güzel
head.
ya.
One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Aynen.
And while he thought it all
Vallahi
very
bak,
odd and wondered
güzel.
if this voice spoke to all people in
Güzel
their
yapmış
dreams,
bak.
the truth was that of course
Bakalım o kapı
this
açık mı
was not a
şimdi?
dream. How could it be?
Açık.
Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain beyond a doubt that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently,
Ha, gözünü
and he invited
kapattı.
himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Gözümüzü kapattık. Bunların her şeyi hepsinin hayal olduğunu düşünüyoruz.
I wish it to be over.
Bunların bitmiş olmasını umuyoruz ve gözümüzü açtığımızda sıkıcı işimizin önünde tuşlara bastığımız anı düşünüyoruz.
And my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Hayatım normal, ben normalim, her şey normale dönecek. Hop, gözünü açıyor ama
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up.
bağırmaya
My name is
başladık.
Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I
Benim
am
bir
real. Please, just someone tell me I am
gerçeğim.
real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Her şey tekrar karanlığa
This is the
büründü.
story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariella adındaki birinin
Mariella
hikayesi.
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance,
Evet,
for
Mariella
just a few
endinginde
brief moments,
böylece
she
keşfetmiş
considered
olduk.
the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Ulan
then she
orada
turned around.
ölmüşüz. Kadın hiçbir şey yapmıyor. Bitti mi? Bitip bitmediğini de bilmiyoruz ha. Herhalde bitti. Mariella ending olduk. Bitti. Evet. Arkadaşlar. Üçüncü bölümü de bitirdik. Şimdi dördüncü sona gidelim. Evet.
This is the story of a man
Haydi
named
bakalım.
Stanley.
Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk. Telling him what alalım aynı yerlere. How long to push them and in what order. Şimdi de this is what employee
alt kata
427
inelim ya. Alt
did
katta ne vardı?
every
Tekstür şeyi vardı ha.
every year.
Aa şey.
Although others
Oo
might
çok
consider
güzel
it
ya.
soul wrenching, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in.
Şu şey vardı ya.
He made exactly his
Çizgi.
job.
The line.
And Stanley was happy.
The line'a gidelim bakalım.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete
Şu atlayamadım şunun
isolation.
üstüne.
Something was very clearly wrong.
Hadi be.
Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to
Oh,
move
atladım
for
işte
the
bu.
longest time.
Hadi
But
bakalım.
as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he
Geçin
got
kapıya.
off his desk and stepped out of his office. Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
Meeting room
Evet,
to
şimdi
check on
alt
his
kata
coworkers.
ineceğiz.
He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Bakalım alt katta bir son bulabilecek miyiz?
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Şeyi de çok merak ediyorum
This
aslında.
was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Karşı
Stanley knew
etmeyin.
it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly it was really worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
Tamam.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Şimdi buradan düz mü gitsem? Buradan gidip aşağı mı insem? Buradan gideyim, aşağı ineyim. Buradan da herhalde iki son vardır. O iki sonu da bir sonraki şeye bırakalım.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now, in
Yeah.
order to get back, he needed to go,
Ha,
from here it's, left.
nereye gideceğimizi unuttu. Bu left mi oluyormuş? Gidelim bakalım. Aha.
No, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Ne kapatacağım da gözümü.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh. Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this
Baştan
time,
başlatıyor oyunu.
suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Baştan başlatıyor, hadi bakalım.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others.
Yine aynı
so the
yerden
thought of
gideceğim.
total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley... Wait. What?
Heh,
No,
güzel.
no, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you
No.
move the story somewhere or... Hold on.
Yok, hiçbir şey
Why am
yapmadım.
I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Evet.
Was right here just a minute ago. I know for
Sensin
sure that
buranın
it's here somewhere.
Fatihi.
Okay then, it's an adventure. Come Stanley,
Allah.
let's find the story.
Ona tüm kapıyı açtılar. Bura buraya çıkıyor. Bura buradan buraya çıkıyor. Bura buradan buraya çıkıyor.
I'll
Acaba-
say it. This is the worst adventure
ben bunu
I've ever been
denemedim
on. I can
şeyde.
promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
Bir daha
I
baştan
find it
başlatıyor.
unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Hadi bakalım başlatsın. Daha şeye
Stanley
gelmemiş.
decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Hadi bakalım. Bu sefer ne yapacaksın? Aha.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the
Güzel,
story is
güzel
back
yapmış.
where we just came from.
Gayet,
Why don't
gayet
we go
güzel
back
yapmış
the
yani.
other direction
Oyunla
and see if
birebir
we
ya.
missed anything?
Ha, geri dönmemiz gerekiyordu, pardon. Ve evet,
Aha!
başka
I
bir
knew
yolculuk.
we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Burada bir döngüye girmem lazımdı.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the
Ha,
story? I don't think so.
burayı daha
I can't
yapmadım
quite
diyor.
recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
O kazandık.
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all.
Yine
We both
beğenmedi.
know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Aramıza yeni
I'm
katılanlar,
getting
biz
weirded
bu
out by whatever
bölümleri,
this place
buraları
is. I don't care what might happen this time.
şeyde
I
oynadık.
have to restart.
Oyunun gerçek versiyonunda oynadık. Onu da tekrar şeyden, oynatma listelerinden bulup Stanley Parable'ı izleyebilirsiniz oradan. Ve evet,
All right, I've got a solution.
İşte
This time, to make sure we
geldi.
don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable
En
Adventure
sevdiğin şey,
Line.
line.
Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Sadece diyor şeyi takip edeceksin diyor. Burada düz gitmedim. Oyunun gerçeğinde de yapmamış olabilirim onu. Onun için bunu takip
You
ediyorum.
see, the line knows where the story
Bak.
is. It's over in this direction.
Tabii tabii.
Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Bilmez mi? Nereye gideceğini biliyor. Saçmalık. Oo. Oo. Aha. Oradan çıkıyor. Buradan geri geliyor. Evet, güzel yapmış. Vallahi güzel. Hop, yine bir dönüşler. Düz yolda bile yandan gidiyor, güzel.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, no, no, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And
Yine
after we
geldik
trusted
aynı yere.
you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Baştan başlatıyor.
You know what, Stanley? I
Ah.
say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're
Line'ı
intelligent
boş
people,
ver diyor.
right? Why can't we make up our own story?
Kendi
Something
yolumuzu
exciting,
yapalım,
daring,
kendi
mysterious.
şeyimizi yapalım diyor.
Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Buradan gitmeye ne dersin diyor.
Yes,
Biz
this
de
is
atlıyoruz hemen.
exciting. Just
İşte bu
me and
gerçekten
Stanley forging a
heyecanlı.
new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do
En
you want our
heyecanlı
story
şey
to
bu
be?
diyor.
Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Gidiyoruz.
Oh no,
Aha.
not you again.
Yine
Stanley,
şey geldi.
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor
Yok
rooms.
artık, buradan
Just
geç.
don't acknowledge it. We should be fine.
Ve geri gitti. Bakalım biz nereye çıkacağız. Hatırladım.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity.
Ha, kapılar açıldı. Aha,
Hold up, what's this?
geldik. Okuyalım hemen.
The confusion ending. You're telling me
Confusion
that's what this
bitişi
is?
bu.
It's all one giant ending.
Deviate from the main
And we're supposed to
İlk
restart the game what,
ilk başlangıç.
times?
Anlatıcı oyunu baştan
That's really
başlatır.
how all this goes?
Etrafta dolan, başka bir
Determined?
ölüm bul.
So now, according to the schedule,
Monitör
I restart
odasında
again.
olay
Then what?
bitsin.
Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget?
İkinci
My
restart.
mind goes blank simply because
Narrator
it's written
oyunu
here
tekrar
on
başlatar.
this thing.
I'm wondering. Bir
Well,
şey
who
gidilir
consulted
diyor.
me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this?
Burada
Is
tüm
it really?
yaptığımız hareketler
No, it
buraya
can't be.
kadar doğru.
I don't want it to be.
Find
I don't
collision,
want the game
confusion
to
and
keep
ending.
restarting.
Bak
I
burası
don't want to
bulunur
forget
diyor.
what's going on. I don't
Beşinci
want to be trapped
başlatmak
like
diyor.
this.
You are
I
here
won't
diyor.
restart the
Buradayız
game.
şu
I
an.
won't do it. I
Sonraki
won't do it. I won't do it.
başlatmaktan sonra
And the timer
aha
stopped.
no'su yedik.
Does that mean did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
7. başlangıç,
whatever
8.
it is that
başlangıçtan
made this
sonra
schedule?
uzun
How
süre
will we
sonra
even
ölüyoruz.
know? Will someone come
Anlatıcı
for us?
baştan başlatıyor
Will
oyunu
something happen?
ve uzun süre sonra ölüyoruz.
So, okay. I
Maalesef
guess now
baştan
just
başlatıyor.
wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have
Hop, zorla baştan başlatıyor seri. Evet. Buradan bitti. Herhalde bu da bitti. Evet arkadaşlar, bu bölümde burada bitti. 2 son daha keşfettik. Kalan 2 bölümü de sonraki videoda keşfedeceğiz. Kendinize iyi bakın. Minecraft haritaları gelmeye devam edecek. Güzel bir harita bulursanız haber verin. Bulamazsanız ben bulurum. Bir sürü site var, buluruz yani. Sıkıntı yok. Evet. Öpüyorum hepinizi. Görüşürüz. Bay bay.